In a world where darkness reigned supreme, a huntress named Rayne emerged from the shadows. Her eyes, a haunting crimson, glowed with an otherworldly intensity that both captivated and terrified those who dared to meet her gaze. Rayne's past was shrouded in mystery, a tangled web of secrets that even she struggled to unravel. Whispers of an ancient artifact, imbued with the power to either save or doom the world, had reached Rayne's ears. The huntress knew that she had to be the one to find it, for in the wrong hands, the artifact could unleash untold destruction upon the land. With a heavy heart and a sense of grim determination, Rayne set out on her quest. As she ventured into the treacherous wilds, Rayne's every step was haunted by the weight of her curse. The very power that made her an unparalleled huntress also threatened to consume her, to twist her into something dark and unrecognizable. Rayne fought against the curse's influence, clinging to the last shreds of her humanity as she pressed onward. The landscape shifted and changed around her, as if the very earth itself was alive and aware of her presence. Gnarled trees reached out with twisted branches, their bark etched with arcane symbols that pulsed with an eerie, sickly light. The air grew thick with the stench of decay, and the shadows seemed to writhe and dance, as if possessed by some malevolent force. Despite the horrors that surrounded her, Rayne remained focused on her goal. She knew that the artifact was her only hope, not just for herself, but for the entire world. With each step, she could feel the curse tightening its grip on her soul, but she refused to succumb. She would find the artifact no matter the cost, and she would use its power to banish the darkness once and for all. As Rayne delved deeper into the cursed lands, the weight of her past began to bear down upon her. Memories, long suppressed, surfaced like shards of broken glass, each one cutting deeper into her psyche. She recalled the day she first discovered her powers, the day her life changed forever. It had been a day like any other, until the skies turned black and the earth began to tremble. Rayne, just a child then, had watched in horror as her village was consumed by an unnatural darkness. Screams filled the air as the shadows came alive, devouring everything in their path. Rayne had fled, her heart pounding in her chest, but the darkness had pursued her relentlessly. Just when all seemed lost, a searing pain had erupted from within her, and a blinding crimson light had burst forth from her eyes. The darkness recoiled, as if burned by the intensity of her gaze. Rayne had stood there, trembling, as the realization of her power washed over her. She was no ordinary child. She was something more, something terrifying. Years had passed since that fateful day, and Rayne had learned to harness her abilities. She had become a huntress, a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness. But the cost had been high. The very power that allowed her to fight the shadows also threatened to consume her, to turn her into the very thing she sought to destroy. Rayne shook herself free from the grip of her memories, focusing once more on the task at hand. She could feel the artifact's presence, its power pulsing like a beacon in the darkness. She knew she was close, but the closer she got, the stronger the curse's hold on her became. Every step was a battle, a war waged within her very soul. The cursed artifact called to Rayne, its whispers growing louder with each passing moment. It promised power beyond imagination, the strength to bend the very fabric of reality to her will. But Rayne knew the truth behind its seductive words. The artifact was a double-edged sword, a tool of both salvation and damnation. As she drew closer to the artifact's resting place, the landscape began to change once more. The twisted trees gave way to an ancient ruins, its crumbling walls etched with the same arcane symbols that haunted Rayne's dreams. The air thrummed with an unholy energy, and the shadows danced with a malevolent intelligence. Rayne steeled herself against the onslaught of dark power, drawing upon every ounce of strength she possessed. She could feel the artifact's presence just beyond the ruined walls, beckoning her forward with promises of untold power. But she knew the price of that power, the terrible toll it would take upon her soul. With a deep breath, Rayne stepped into the heart of the ruins. The artifact stood before her, a pulsing orb of darkness that seemed to absorb all light around it. Its surface was etched with intricate patterns, each one pulsing with an eerie, otherworldly glow. Rayne could feel the curse within her stirring, drawn to the artifact's power like a moth to a flame. As she reached out to claim the artifact, a sudden blast of energy sent her flying backwards. A figure emerged from the shadows, a being of pure darkness with eyes that blazed with an unholy light. It spoke in a language Rayne had never heard before, but she understood its message all the same. The artifact was not meant for mortal hands, and those who sought to claim its power would pay the ultimate price. Rayne faced the shadowy figure, her crimson eyes blazing with determination. She knew that this was the final test, the ultimate barrier standing between her and the artifact. The figure spoke again, its voice a haunting whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You seek power beyond your understanding, mortal," it hissed, its form shifting and writhing like smoke in the wind. "The artifact will consume you, twist you into a creature of pure darkness. Is that what you desire?" Rayne's grip tightened on her weapon, a blade forged from the very essence of her curse. She had come too far to turn back now, had sacrificed too much to let this final obstacle stand in her way. With a cry of defiance, she charged forward, her blade slicing through the shadowy figure like a beacon of crimson light. The figure let out an unearthly shriek, its form dissolving into 1,000 shards of darkness. But even as it fell, Rayne could feel the artifact's power surging through her, filling her with a strength she had never known before. It was intoxicating, a rush of pure energy that threatened to sweep her away. With trembling hands, Rayne reached out and grasped the artifact. It pulsed in her grip, its surface cold and smooth against her skin. For a moment, she stood there, lost in the swirling vortex of its power. Then, with a shuddering breath, she tore herself away, tucking the artifact into her pack and turning to face the long journey back to the world she had left behind. The journey back was a blur, a haze of shadows and whispers that haunted Rayne's every step. The artifact weighed heavily in her pack, its power a constant presence that thrummed through her veins like a second heartbeat. She could feel it changing her, twisting her curse into something new and terrifying. As she emerged from the cursed lands, Rayne found herself in a world transformed. The darkness had spread, consuming everything in its path. The people she had once known were gone, replaced by hollow shells that wandered the streets like lost souls. Rayne knew that she was the only one who could stop the darkness, the only one who possessed the power to banish it back to the abyss from whence it came. With the artifact in hand, Rayne set out to face the source of the darkness, a being of pure evil that had lain dormant for centuries, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. She could feel its presence, a malevolent force that pulsed like a cancer at the heart of the world. The final battle was a clash of titans, a war waged between the forces of light and darkness. Rayne fought with everything she had, wielding the artifact's power like a blade of pure energy. The darkness fought back, sending wave after wave of shadows crashing against her defenses. In the end, it was Rayne's curse that saved her, the very power that had once threatened to consume her. She embraced it fully, letting it flow through her like a river of crimson fire. With a final, devastating blast, she banished the darkness back to the abyss, sealing it away for all eternity. But the victory had come at a cost. As Rayne stood amidst the ruins of the battlefield, she could feel the curse taking hold, its power too great for any mortal to bear. With a final bittersweet smile, she closed her eyes and let the darkness take her, knowing that her sacrifice had saved the world from an unimaginable fate.